Good evening, everybody. Matthew from Captive Audience Comics here. Today, we are actually going to be working on a big key issue book for a customer. This is a book that as soon as you guys see it, it's iconic. It's a key that collectors are looking for all of the time. It's a very hard book to find raw in good condition, high grade condition. And this particular copy, already in its current condition, is already in high grade condition, and we're just going to be bringing it up to its full potential so it can go off and get graded. So without further ado, let's show you what we have here. So, Savage Tales, starring Conan the Barbarian. This is the first appearance of Man-Thing and is a sought-after key for all major collectors. This particular book is in excellent condition already. We'll show you that mostly what it has, as you can see, it has some spine curling, some staple indents. Obviously got the square bound and its top staples, so the staples push into the paper. This always happens. Has a little bit of a try to get the light. There it is. You see a little bit of a indent here. There's a little bit of a little indent in there. A little bit of dirt in the price, well, not the price box, but publication box. And on the back, you can see the back is generally in excellent shape. It has a little little indent in here, some little rough parts, and then obviously where the staple bump outs are in the paper, they've collected dirt over time. Okay, this book structurally is in excellent condition. The spine is in fantastic condition. So we're going to dry clean this book and prep it for the humidity chamber, and then after the humidity chamber, into the press. And we're going to basically show you guys how we're going to dry clean this book in preparation. Now, this book is in excellent condition already. Okay, it doesn't require a whole lot of cleaning. It's more of touch-ups. One thing is, like I've said previously, the reason we don't wear gloves, I need to be able to feel the paper, wash your hands, and keep them clean, keep the oils off them. Okay, and this book doesn't even have a film. Sometimes you'll feel this it's weird. It's a weird feeling on top of the paper that there's basically this agey film stuck on it. This doesn't even have that. So it's going to be basic dry cleaning techniques. Okay. So really, what we're going for is in this mature reader's box, there's some discoloration in the paper, and we're going to see if that's surface dirt or if that's just in the paper when it's printed. A lot of times these books, that the paper is not a pure white, and that there's just discolored fibers in the paper itself, and obviously there's nothing that can be done about that. So we're just starting with a piece of a rubber absorbing sponge with light brushing in the white area, going in different directions, and we're just seeing if any of that is going to lessen or lighten up. I think that most of this discoloration actually is just in the paper fibers, but we're just taking a look to see. This is just a very soft art gum eraser. I just want to see if a little bit of light work with that makes any difference in this area. Now it looks like this is cleaning a little bit of that off, so some of it is surface debris. Now I'm starting with a larger eraser, and I'm just going through the parts where it fits. I always start with larger erasers, then work smaller. Otherwise, you're going to be spending eons working on every book if you're starting with your smallest erasers and then moving you can't move up because you're starting small. Some guys will use like a 2 mil or a 1 mil eraser for everything because they're afraid to use a larger eraser because they might get some color loss somewhere, and that's fine. If that's the way you want to do it, and you're only doing a few books, and the amount of time you spend on a book doesn't matter to you, go ahead, knock yourself out. But that obviously is not a very efficient use of your time, especially if you're pressing a lot of stuff. So looks like there was a little bit of a surface. I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference, but there was a little bit of surface material did come off of that. It does look better. We're going to take a look in these the white lettering areas here. I actually don't see any dirt in here in these, but we're just going to give it a light little clean to make sure in case there's any very small fiber stuck in there. And apparently my light just decided to turn off. Give us a second and we'll sort that out. All right, there we go. Backup light is now running. So like I was saying, we're just going over lightly where the white lettering is. It already looks very good. Just want to make sure there's no extra surface debris in there. Same thing with the lettering around the title bar. This lettering looks very good, but we just want to make sure there isn't any little teeny tiny stuff stuck in there. We're doing everything we can to make sure this book's going to grade as high as it can. It's already a high grade book, so we want to make sure that everything is going to be good. Now, one thing we always take a look at, and this book is pretty good, is the spine. We want to take a look at the spine and see if there's like dirt piled in there. Sometimes it's hard to clean the spines because they're already crunched up. This spine is in excellent shape. It's very clean. The paper's a little, I don't know how to explain it. It's got a little bit of a flat finish, almost like there's no gloss on the spine. But it is in excellent condition. Now, onto the back, because this book does not need much cleaning. We'll do afterwards, we'll do a polish with the fiber cloth just to make sure there isn't anything left on there. But the biggest thing on the back is obviously the staples, and there's a little bit of surface debris down here just along this edge here. So on the bottom, we're just going to lightly work this towards the edges. I'm actually using a little swoop motion, but use whatever works, whatever works for you. And again, some of this could just be in the paper fibers, so we're not going too hard. We're just lightly going over this area and seeing, what's going to come out with a little bit of gentle work here. Now, books tend to always collect dirt on this bottom edge, especially on the rear where it's sliding against other books, and it just it's just a lot of surface dirt that builds up and it catches right on the edges. It's always like this. The spine and the bottom edge are like the number one edges for dirt collection. That is looking better. We're evening it out. Usually, if you can tell if the discoloration in the paper is uneven, then you know that you have some dirt collecting in that area, because just the discoloration from the paper product being used in the printing should be pretty even throughout the book. A little bit on the side here. We'll hit that. And again, like I say, we want to make sure we go light enough. We don't want to be affecting the gloss. We don't want to be affecting, the surface look of the fibers, where if you look at this book under an angle, you don't want to see, almost like eraser lines or eraser streaks or anything like that. That's the kind of thing that CGC is looking for when they're looking at these books for cover cleaning. And remember, CGC cleaning and pressing is not it's not restoration. CGC does it themselves. But what it is if it's artificially inflating the look of a book. A book looks too new. The pages look too white. The book's been damaged, like the gloss has been stripped out of an area. The book is streaky. That's where you're going to get problems. And CGC is on the lookout now for artificially white-looking books. There was a gentleman, it wasn't a customer of mine, but he had a Golden Age book done by his regular cleaner and presser. Book came back 5.5, blue label. Customer asked if that cleaning and presser thought that it would benefit from basically a crack with the hydrogen peroxide blue LED treatment. And that presser said that he thought that book was hard capped at a 5.5 due to structural problems with the book, whether that be tears or stains or, whatever. Customer took the book away. Later on, finds out that book comes back through CGC, same book. Now it's a 5.5, but it's a purple label. And that book looked like bright white. Like, it was crazy white. So shocking it got a white label for cover cleaned. Now, when I clean these raised staple areas, I just take a piece of, this is like a 20 pound paper. I'd have to check. Anyways, it's a thicker paper. I think it's about equivalent to, I don't know, probably like 4 sheets of paper, I guess, in thickness and weight. Anyways, I put that underneath my cover, and I get it on top of the staples up against the cover, okay, as tight as I can go. And you got to be careful because, first of all, you don't want to pull the cover back too far, and you want to make sure you get on top. And it's not going to fully protect this, but what it will do is it will give you a little more protection underneath when you're cleaning off these raised staples. Because if you have a raised staple and obviously you clean it too aggressively, you're literally just going to clean a hole through. And a lot of times on these books, the staple, the little corner of the staple has actually punched a tiny little hole through the paper. And this happens all the time. Keep in mind that the paper's been sitting against that staple for, decades, under pressure, maybe, pressed up against other books, and it's only normal that's going to happen. This book has not done that. The staples have not pushed through, so we want to make sure that we don't accidentally push those staples through. So I'm just cleaning off the high spots now. I'm using very light pressure. Better to work on it a little bit longer so you can kind of see the progress than too hard and too fast. I like to do it so if I'm looking at an area here where there's like a little dark spot, I know there's still some dirt, I can work it away from myself, and then I can watch that spot, and I can watch it gradually get cleaner, and using very, very light pressure. And then stop every once in a while and take a look at it, because the other thing too is sometimes when you look at something changing gradually over time, you don't notice like how much of a change it's been. This is where before photos can really help you, because sometimes if you're looking for subtle changes, you need a good before photo so that you can look at it afterwards and compare it. So, so this looks pretty good. Maybe we'll hit this a little bit more. I don't want to hit this too hard. The paper is formed in the shape of the staple, but we're just to get this a little bit more. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And this one here I'm a little more concerned about. It's got a thin spot in the paper right here. I don't want to hit that. And then there's this little groove right near the edge of the spine where the glue compression is. It's created this little tiny groove up here, and we're just going to run the top of the eraser in there along that groove, clean some dirt out of that. Alright, so now I'm going to take my microfiber cloth and we're just going to give this a little buff to make sure that there's no surface material left on it. Sometimes these erasers don't really leave streak lines, but some erasers can leave little streak lines on your paper, and you're going to want to use a cotton pad or a cotton round or a buffing pad or something just to make sure that book doesn't leave any streaks behind. And there's the dry cleaning portion done. So next it will go into the humidification chamber to soften up the paper fibers, and then it will go into the press. Now, pressing in square bound books, you're going to see various techniques. You can buy square bound book shims. It's actually like a square that goes right around the square bound book and supports the spine up. You can build up your own press shims so you don't overpress these. Lots of stuff you can do. What we like to do is I like to take, again, these slightly thicker pieces of paper, and I like to make sure I get one between the staple and the cover on both sides, and then I put additional pieces throughout the book. I space additional pieces through the book so that when that book comes under pressure, that this part of the book from here over lifts up slightly so that it's at the same height as the spine edge, because you'll end up with a little swoop in the middle here because the spine actually, the way the glue sits, it actually creates like a low spot. And by buffering that book out like this, making the actual book artificially thicker before you press it, that stops your press from artificially crushing your spine. And then the other thing too is I use lower pressure. I also tend to press square bounds at a lower heat. The glue in a square bound this old likely will not resoften under heat, but you never know, 100%. Definitely in more modern square bounds, if you don't reduce your heat, literally there's going to be glue oozing out the ends of your book. So you want to watch for that. So that's it for now. We'll take we have some before photos. We'll take some after photos once it comes out of the press, and we'll tag those in so you guys can take a look. And I hope you found this interesting, and make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and so we can keep making content for you guys. Have a great day.